In the heart of Berlin, where the past whispers through the cobblestone streets and the future looms large in the gleaming architecture, there lies an institution that purports to be a beacon of learning, a place where young minds are nurtured and prepared to take on the world. This place, Beuth Hochschule für Technik Berlin, promised to be my sanctuary of knowledge, the forge upon which my destiny was to be shaped with precision and care. Alas, my dreams were to be met with a reality as harsh as the winter winds that sweep through the city's avenues. As I walked through the hallowed halls of Beuth Hochschule, I felt the weight of unfulfilled promises pressing upon my shoulders. The air was thick with the scent of outdated technology and the echoes of forgotten progress. Here, in a place that boasted of its dedication to technology, the scarcity of essential resources such as electrical outlets was a cruel jokia reminder that the institution's reach far exceeded its grasp. The elevators, much like the dreams of many a student, seemed to falter every other day, leaving us to trudge up the stairs, our hearts as heavy as our bags filled with unanswered potential. The professors, those esteemed guardians of wisdom, were as elusive as the solutions to our most complex equations. Their silence in the face of our inquiries was deafening. I remember sending emails into the ether, each one a plea for guidance, only to be met with a void that seemed to swallow my words whole. It was a game of chance, it seemed, to receive a response 1 in 10 affair that left me questioning my worth as a student, as a human being seeking knowledge in a world that seemed to have forgotten the value of empathy and communication. The administration, a labyrinthine entity, operated with the efficiency of a clock whose gears had long since rusted. The bureaucracy was a beast that feasted on our patience and spat out our frustration. I recall the interminable wait for my transcripts, a wait that stretched across months, each day a testament to the institution's disregard for our time and our futures. It was as if the very walls of Beuth Hochschule were lined with indifference, and the echo of our footsteps was the only reply we would ever receive. In the classrooms, the air was thick with a sense of abandonment. The furniture, antiquated relics from a bygone era, seemed to creak under the weight of our collective disappointment. The laboratories, where the wonders of science were to be unveiled, were but hollow shells, their promised treasures locked away behind doors that might as well have been guarded by the specters of incompetence and neglect. The curriculum, a tangled web of archaic methodologies and unrealistic expectations, was a cruel mistress that demanded our every waking hour. The assignments piled up like the leaves of unread books in an abandoned library, each one a testament to the professor's inability to discern the difference between rigor and rigmarole. It was a system that thrived on the overworked and the overwhelmed, a machine that churned out tired minds and broken spirits. And yet, amidst the chaos and the despair, there were those rare gems, those beacons of true knowledge and understanding. Professors who saw through the facade and took up the mantle of genuine educators. They were the lighthouses in our stormy seas, the ones who reminded us why we had embarked on this journey in the first place. But their light was often dimmed by the pervasive darkness that seemed to seep from the very foundations of Beuth Hochschule. As I walk these halls for the last time, my heart aches for what could have been. The promise of a future shaped by knowledge and guided by wisdom has been replaced by the reality of a system that values profit over purpose, quantity over quality. The irony is not lost on me Hochschule für Technik that lags decades behind the very technology it claims to teach. It is a travesty, a mockery of education that leaves me fee.
Elling betrayed and bereft, but let us not forget the most egregious of offences, the advertisement that befouled the name of Beuth Hochschule, an image that glorified violence against the innocent, that depicted an act of cruelty against a creature so pure and defenseless. It was a stain upon the...
The area around Beuth Hochschule für Technik Berlin is a cautionary tale of disappointment. The businesses here do not just fail to meet expectations, they seem to actively resent the idea of hospitality. The shops, restaurants, and entertainment spots are riddled with incompetence, hostility, and in some cases, outright exploitation. If you are looking for a pleasant experience near this university, you will need patience, thick skin, and a willingness to accept mediocrity as the best-case scenario. Shopping centres near Beuth Hochschule für Technik Berlin are chaotic, unwelcoming, and often feel like a test of endurance rather than a place to spend money. Jessenbrunnen Center Berlin is a perfect example. The reviews paint a picture of a place where aggression is the default mood. Security guards follow non-German customers like they are criminals, while German visitors are left alone, an unsettling double standard that makes the entire experience feel discriminatory. The bathrooms require payment, but the machines reject cards, forcing people to stand there like fools, pressing their credit cards against a broken reader while strangers watch. Parking is another nightmare. Cash-only systems that fail, leaving drivers trapped inside unless they can find an ATM in an area already described as terrifying. One reviewer compared leaving the mall to surviving a knife fight, and honestly, it is hard to argue with that assessment. Spas in this area are no better. Vabali Spa promises relaxation but delivers stress. Reservations mean nothing, arrive a few minutes late and you will be turned away, birthday or not. The staff treat rules like sacred laws, showing no flexibility even when circumstances are beyond the guest's control. Theft is a recurring issue, with personal items disappearing from unlocked robes while management shrugs as if it is just part of the experience. And if you dare to check the time on your phone, something most people do instinctively, you risk being kicked out. The rules are enforced with a rigidity that borders on parody. One guest described being forced to lie on the floor during a sound bath session as punishment for entering through the wrong door. It is absurd, humiliating, and completely at odds with the idea of a relaxing wellness retreat. Dining near Beuth Hochschule für Technik Berlin is a gamble, and the odds are not in your favor. La Cantina, an Italian restaurant, is a masterclass in poor service. The owner barks orders at customers, demands they order more food than they need, and has been accused of aggressively shoving strollers out of the way like they are obstacles rather than guests. If you ask for water, expect to pay for an entire bottle. Tap water is apparently too much to ask. The pizzas arrive looking suspicious, with one reviewer joking that someone may have spit on them. The waitstaff treat tourists with visible disdain, as if serving them is an inconvenience rather than their job. Entertainment venues here follow the same trend, overpriced, overcrowded, and underwhelming. A-Train, a so-called jazz club, crams people in like sardines, selling more tickets than there is space. The piano is out of tune, the air is stale, and the service crawls at a pace that suggests the employees are being paid by the hour, and not by performance. Urban Spree, another popular spot, charges entry fees even when they advertise free admission, and the bouncers greet guests with silent disapproval rather than words. One visitor was accused of damaging a book they barely touched and threatened with police intervention over nothing. Cocktail bars near the university, like Bar Beckett's Kopf, take themselves far too seriously. The drink menus are pretentious riddles, disguising mediocre cocktails behind poetic nonsense. The staff act as if they are gatekeepers of some sacred mixology secret, scolding customers for not understanding their cryptic descriptions.
Prices are high, quality is low, and the atmosphere is cold, both figuratively and literally, as one guest noted the place smelled like a sauna yet felt as welcoming as a tax audit. So what should travelers do? Avoid this area unless absolutely necessary. If you must visit, bring cash, expect hostility, and do not assume that reservations will be honored. The businesses here seem to operate with a collective disdain for customer satisfaction, and the only way to win is not to play their game. Stay elsewhere, spend your money where it is appreciated, and leave this district to its own dysfunctional ecosystem.
Oh my gosh, when you think of Berlin, you imagine all these cool places, like Beuth Hochschule für Technik Berlin, where everything is supposed to be like high-tech and futuristic. But even in such a forward-thinking place, some really old-school scams still happen, and it is kind of sad, So there is this luxury watch store near Beuth Hochschule, and it is one of those places where tourists go to splurge on something fancy to remember their trip. But this one time, these two guys go in, pretending to be customers, and they ask to see some really expensive watches. And then, out of nowhere, they spray this awful gas in the employee's face and grab a bunch of watches worth, tens of thousands of euros. Can you imagine? They just ran out, leaving chaos behind. I can only guess the staff was in shock, and the poor tourists must have been terrified. And those thieves, they were probably living it up somewhere, not caring about the mess they left. And then, there is this other thing that has been happening around the same area.
Shops wake up to smashed windows, and it's not just a simple break-in. Sometimes, nothing's even stolen. It's like someone's trying to send a message, and it's really scary. Tourists see these boarded-up windows and think, what kind of neighborhood is this? It's like the area's getting a bad rep for no good reason, and the shop owners, they're just trying to make an honest living. But it gets even more personal. There are these fake tradesmen going around, knocking on doors of small shops and studios, saying they need to check something inside. And while one of them distracts the owner with papers and stuff, the other one is sneakily snatching cash and valuables. It's so wrong, you know. These shopkeepers are trying to run their businesses, and they have to deal with these con artists too. I bet they feel so violated after something like that. And oh my gosh, the fake police officer thing is just like the lowest of the low. These criminals show up at a shop, flash a fake badge, and say there's been a bunch of thefts in the area, so they need to take the money for safekeeping. And the shopkeepers, they trust the police, so they hand over their hard-earned cash, and then poof, the officers disappear.